Now see, it's hitting true, but then it's getting set back to false. Because the opposite condition is also true. So for example, if this is greater than -7, this is also greater than -7. So it's getting set to true and false. So we do have to have the checks on. So if we are going higher, then we're going up. If we're going lower, then we're going down. So both of these should be higher. Should be lower. Unless, again, here's the thing though. This should be lower because we're going down, and then it should slow from that reason. So, yeah. We do need the checks here. So if B, Y, positive, and greater than or B, Y negative, and less than 7. B, Y negative. Okay. Refresh. So false, false. No, it didn't go. So if BYN less than -7 should be true. So BYN is true, and position is less than -7, but it's still false. What the hell? So let's do this. If B, Y, N then we say Y plus. So it's not working on either side of it. Let me also add in these checks. Console. Gotta get to the bottom of this craziness. Okay, what do we got? So, should be false, false. Okay, so I saw some trues. There were not many of them. There's one right there. Slow move false though. So, how long did that last for? It lasted for the number of times it should have, but slow move was still false. The frack. So if one of these is true, doesn't matter which one, it should go to the code. So if I put this in here, this should always be true. At these specific points where they should be. BY is undefined. Oh. Must have deleted that by accident. Alright. Have a look here. So false. True. False. You son of a... Actually showed true for quite a few frames there. True. But this is still false. True. False. You know why? That's bloody why, oh my god. I bet if this is it, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay, so we got an issue now where it's actually causing a little bit of problem. It might be going too long. Damn. Now, trigonometry is difficult. Basically what this is. Trying to figure this stuff out. Well, I think my brain has had enough torture for today with this, so my website will have to remain will have to remain get Adobe Flash Player button. That's what my website will have to remain as for now. And not this awesome, cool thing that Snowmob designed for me a decade and a half ago. Okay, I'm going to leave this open though. So, we need some games to take the edge off here. Okay, everybody, this is Duel from Productions², and we're back to doing the stream. So normally I don't stream on Thursdays, but last week and this week, probably next week too, if we don't finish tonight, I'm going to be working on my website on Thursdays, so there will be a stream here to these. So now, kind of refresh in case people don't know why my website is jacked up. My original website was made back in 2000 and I would say 2005 or 6-ish, by a friend I have over in the Bahamas. His name was he's gone through a couple different names. So his name is Snowmob now, but it was called Ray Shield at the time. So he made it. Made it in Flash and ActionScript, and that was fine, perfectly fine until 2016, I think 2015, is when who was it that fired the first shot? I think it was Google fired the first shot in the anti-Flash war by stopping support for I think they're called NAPI extensions, which Flash basically requires to go over to work. And then I think Flash did make some changes to allow it to still work potentially. And then Adobe basically threw their hands up in the air and said, "Screw it, we don't care anymore. Flash is dead. We're going to shoot it in the face." Come 2020, and here we are. My website hasn't worked for quite a while. I think sometime last year it stopped working for me on Chrome. But I figured, you know what? Flash is now officially dead. It's time to do something about that. Because my website doesn't work. I'm paying $15 a month for something that doesn't really work. I've got other stuff on there. You can go directly to pages, but you can't get to the landing page. I also use it for hosting for files and things, like for RPG Maker plugins and whatnot. But yeah, so it was time to fix stuff up. And do I still have the thing open? I do not. So this is what the site used to look like. Just go to Preview, Publish, and Flash. Yeah. Ignore the music. The music changed to the music that's in all my intros and on my videos on YouTube, and also the intro for the stream. That's the song that's on in the background now. But this is what my website was. So I had like the center bit, which would go to like an About Me page, then these orbs floating around it, which would be for all the other pages you can go to. Something just really, really interesting and asymmetric in terms of like what you expect from a website. So what I'm trying to do now is recreate this, but do it in JavaScript, HTML, Flash, or not Flash, CSS, and with this JavaScript plugin library called Three.JS. And we started working on it last week, last Thursday. And we got kind of far, but ran into a couple problems getting some things to work properly and getting the functionality I wanted to happen. Since then, though, I have been working on stuff and banging my head against the wall quite a few times and deleting everything and restarting over more times than I want to count, until I now have something that looks like this. See if I can find the page it's on. Here it is. So here's what I have now. Granted, it's not much, but it is doing sort of what I wanted to do. We will need to work on this and add some more stuff in and try and readjust a couple things. But in general, this is kind of what I want to have happen. The movement would be what it is now, but the movement speed to be controlled by how far the mouse is away from the center. So the further away it would be, the faster things would be rotating around. And the closer you are, the slower they rotate around. And then if you hover over one of them, it should stop everything. Then fade the other ones out and bring that one, not fade them out, but make them out of focus. And then allow you to click on that one to go to the page. That's the idea that I'm trying to go for with this. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking this and working on it and trying to get something that looks more like, I closed it too and I didn't need to. Something that looks more like this. That's not what I want. And close this. Something closer to this. We're not going to get very near to this, but the idea is to get as close as possible. We'll have to work on implementing that later on. So I'm going to leave this open just for reference, so we can deal with it. I don't need hacks, I don't need easel, I don't need this, or this, or this, or this, or that, or that, or this. Might need that, maybe. Just need these ones open. But all I need is documentation and the website. I also have it set up so it'll resize with the window. But I'll probably change that eventually because I don't want it to be going all small like that. My Internet Explorer is really laggy right now. Also, quick shoutouts to Emrun and Suki for the follows earlier. Appreciate this. So let's go ahead and stick this over here. One thing I need to do is I need to change this back to 000. Save that and we'll re-upload it. There we go. Want that in the center. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to slow these down a bit. They're going a bit too fast. So we want the speed, orbit speed, to be math random times 0.5 divided by we'll say times 0.5 again. I just want it to be a little bit slower. I might be too slow though. We'll have to see what it looks like. Yeah, okay, that's reasonable for now. I also want to make more of them. We're going to have at least 8. So let's go ahead and make this 8. And I think that's all I need to do for that. It should automatically make them 8 of them now. The way I have it set up. We'll go over the code here in a bit. I just want to get things a little bit... There we go. Okay. I'll have to think about how I want them to be arranged, though. If I want them to be something like symmetrical like this, or just have them be free floating around and be different every time, because every time you load this, they'll be different. They'll be in different spots, they'll be in different locations, orbiting different ways. It'll make the site a little more interesting, I think, if they just do their own thing every time you load the page. So they won't quite know what to expect each time. And I might make it so that every button loads at a different place, too. Instead of just like having it load at the same place every time, have it be in an array of meshes or something, and then have the array be randomly selected for which ones they used at what point in time. So, now, let's go over the code. So, what I did to do this was pretty simple. I actually went back and removed used the minified version of this because it was just a lot easier to work with that way. I was using the module version of it before, but things were not working the way I wanted them to. So I actually can get to the all this code. Soul script tag can go away. Save on some KBs that way. Let's also get rid of all this white space. Okay. So pretty standard stuff here. So we have our got everything in a function now. We're calling things from the function. They're basically on page load function. So once things are ready, this will be called, and then it'll call everything else. So we're calling init, and we're calling 3 ready, which is calling init. Init is doing stuff up here, which is setting the document body, call it a white. We are creating the renderer. with anti-alias true and alpha true. We're enabling shadow maps and setting up the shadow map type to use. We're appending a couple of elements to the body style, as well as appending the renderer to the body as well. Setting up the scene, setting up the camera, setting the camera position, and then adding the camera to the scene. Then we call a resize. That just gets the current window width and height and sets those, and then kind of resets up the camera a bit, so that as your if you change the way the size of the window, it's changing the stuff that's shown on screen. Then we're calling we're assigning the function to the on resize event handler for the window, and we're calling populate scene. That is doing this. Here, all we're doing here is, these are also just some global defines, too. So we got a FOV of 60, near is 1, far is 10,000. We'll mess around with that a bit. A button array to hold the button objects, and then the number to create. Obviously the width and the height of the initial state of the window. So we're setting up a new circle geometry for the middle one. Should get rid of this last one. I have that there. Don't need it. To keep that there for the central thing, like over here. Creating a new material for that. Pulling in the logo image that we saved from last week. Creating the mesh from it and the mesh material from it. Then creating the actual mesh from those two, the geometry and the material. And it's called Nucleus at the moment. I'll probably rename it. Setting the position, adding to the scene. Creating a blank or a null button object to store each new button that we create. And we also have a plane and a point. Then we're creating the geometry, and then assigning a Fong material. At the moment I have it set to, should be red, but they're black. Not sure what's up with that. After that, then we go through this for loop, going through for the number of buttons that we want to create, in this case 8. And then we create the buttons. So we have our mat, we have our geometry. We set the angle to a random amount, so the placement it's at will be at a random amount. The orbit speed, which again is random. And then we are copying the button angle to the plane. Then for the point, we're setting it to a random location, and then using that to set the project point for the plane. Next, we have the math.random, but greater than 0.5, then we are changing the button speed direction. So we're making it rotate opposite of some of the other ones. So some will be rotating one way, others will be rotating against them. Kind of like you can see here, these two are rotating counter to each other. Then we're adding the button to the buttons array, and then adding it to the scene. That's all we're really doing. After that, it calls animate, which does the animation stuff. Where is that? Down here. So we're calling request animation frame. Then we're using update buttons, which is what does all the cool stuff. So create a dummy object to hold every button while we're working on it. Then we get the current button from the array as we're looping through it. I'm using a number of buttons here because we shouldn't have more of these than what's in here, so it should be fine. Next, we are subtracting the nucleus position from its own position, so finding out where it's at the current moment on the current frame in relation to the nucleus, and then subtracting it so that we can remove that. Then we change the axis angle by the orbit speed and the angle that it has, and then we re-add the nucleus position to push it back out to where it's supposed to be. And then that's all that we have to do to get this effect. So it's pretty straightforward. So now, what we want to do is we want these to be the same size as these, so which should be bigger than this. The other thing though is scale. We have to work on the scale as well. As they're coming closer to the front of the screen, they need to be scaled up a bit. As they go back, they need to be scaled down. I think if we get to the appropriate scale, I think the buttons are actually going to be the same size as this one. It's just that the scaling will change how it looks. So, what we need to do now is we need to create a... We need to figure out how to do this properly. I think it's from here is where I saw it. Yeah, materials, there we go. So I need to make a bunch of base materials here, mesh basic materials. That'll be for each of these buttons. I think we have all the images stored in the images folder at the moment. Yeah. I'm also going to rename these at this point in time. So rename, that was not what I wanted to do. That was not rename, that was delete. We're going to call this logo PNG. L2R. Just so I don't have these crazy arse, because these menus aren't going to matter anymore. Port. Wiki.png. That's not a dot, that's a comma. YouTube. FF fan sites. And then the CI logo. Okay. We go to images. I'm going to remove all of these other ones here. Delete. And we're going to re-upload these. I mean, I could just re-upload that. It's not that much space, but I know how much data to be shoving over there, but it's fine. Okay, back over to revamp. So, this is going to be logo. PNG. Now, so, there, btn mats equals, and then we just need to define them, right? Three, mesh basic material, map loader.load. So this is what we need to do. Let's use these. Oops. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Yeah. So this will be GRO, wiki, portfolio, YouTube, L2R, CI, and what was the last one? OV. Probably should also add them for Twitch as well. Okay, so we got our stuff here. I'm going to create another null up here. There, btn mat equals null. I also want to make sure we don't use the same one twice.